Today I'm going to show you a new wonderful system developed by Artexacta. Let me introduce you to our survey engine called SANG. As you know, survey capture is among the most common issues for business and especially for institutional organizations. Indeed, survey capture is very important because it provides organizations with new data to analyze. The results of this analysis are the basis for future strategies. Our main objective was not only to solve the basic capturing issue, say for example, being able to create and edit surveys, have a lot of types of questions, fill out a questionnaire online, send somebody a questionnaire by email, but our main objective was data reliability. A massive survey capture with reliable data is very rare to see because it is very difficult to achieve. We're going to see that SANG has many tools that focus on the data reliability issue. So, we already have created our survey in the most traditional way. I'm going to show you now how we can use our question builder to create a few questions. First, let's for example identify the person filling the questionnaire. We create a text question. Then we need identifier for the question. Is your name? We have a few options here in attributes, and we save the question. Once we have the question, we can test the functionality with a preview. What is your name? Okay. We go back to edit. Okay. Now let's ask this fellow if he is a minor or if he is an adult. Let's see. Now we have two options here. Let's say adult. Minor. Okay. Also, let's ask him his age. For that, we need an integer question. Say age. How old are you? I'll just say this. Now, let's take a look to our first battery of tools to address data reliability. In this case, we want the age to be an integer value between 0 and 140 only, for example. So we want the age to be between 0 and 140. On fail message, we tell is an positive integer less than 140. Constraint. And here, if we preview our survey in the how old are you question, we are going to see that the 45 is a valid integer, but 150, for example, already tells us there is an error. But what if we want to do something a little bit more complex? Say, for example, we want to check if he's a minor, then the age must be under 18, otherwise he or she should have chosen the adult option. So we go back to our age and we build a so positive integer if minor and less than 18, adult otherwise. And we are going to remove the previous constraint. We'll see our preview. Positive integer if minor less than 18, adult otherwise. Let's say if you are a minor and you put 15, there's not a problem. If we put 20, then there is an issue. If we check on adult, then the issue is gone. Okay, let's go back to edit. Now, there is another common issue when building a survey. Say, for example, that you want to know how many children does this person has, but you want this to be shown only for the people that have chosen adult as the type of person. Use a conditional display. So, if adult minor has selected the adult option, then we are going to ask how many children does he or she has. Let's look at the preview. So you can see the how many children question is disabled. If you put minor, nothing happens. But if you put adult, it enables the how many children question. Of course, we want children to be a positive integer as well. Let's use greater than or equal to 0. And also less than or equal to 50. It's safe to say that nobody will have more than 50 children. But maybe in some places it is possible to have more than 50 children. So in this case, we're going to use a flexible constraint, which asks for the user to justify their questions whenever the constraint is broken. Let's see how this works. So I'm an adult and I have 60 children. Okay, I can add a justifications. Multiple times. Okay. Let's take a look at a completed survey. We have chosen the application form for the Schengen visa because most people will understand this form and what it is for. As you can see, we have the application for Schengen visa with all the questions. You can put a few logos if you want, or more explanation remarks here. You have many sections that where you can continue filling in the questionnaire. You can see that the questions have been disposed in tables, so you can select whatever layout for your questions that you want. The survey manager can decide which is the process the questionnaires will follow when these are being submitted in the field. SANG introduces many roles for a survey, each one of them for a different stage of a review strategy for the survey. We have the questionnaires enumerators, which fill out the questionnaire. We have transcript verifiers. If enumerators copy the questionnaire from a printed form, then typing errors must be corrected by the transcription verifiers. We have also quarantine validators. These guys have to validate all the weak and flexible constraints that have been broken for a submitted questionnaire. And finally, SANC includes a final reviewer role for those surveys where the survey manager wants to add a final review stage to this process. In this case, you can see that we only want to place questionnaires with observations, weak and flexible constraints broken, on quarantine. All the other stages are disabled. At this stage, we are almost done and ready for the data capture process. First, we have to assign our enumerators to this survey. You can see Vladimir and Ivan will be our enumerators, and Vladimir will also function as a quarantine validator for the survey. Also, Vladimir has been configured to be able to capture new questionnaires if needed. For Ivan, we will assign him a few questionnaires or units to survey. You can see here that we have 2 units, Federico and Vladimir, which have been addressed to Ivan. So we are asking here Ivan to contact these units to fill out these questionnaires. We have already started this survey and have filled out a few questionnaires. We can see that in the survey dashboard. You can see that we have 4 questionnaires created, just 1 recently created, 2 are in progress of enumeration, 1 has been finalized. You can also see the state machine that is enabled for these options. We have the option to place questionnaires with observations on quarantine. So any questionnaire that is submitted, and if quarantine is enabled and the questionnaire has errors, weak or justifiable, then the questionnaire goes into quarantine. Otherwise, it is finalized. This state machine is at the core of the SANC application. And this state machine changes depending on the options selected. Let's log out and log in as Vladimir to see how he's viewing the SANC. First thing we see is that he can see the survey application for Schengen visa because he is able to capture new questionnaires. Also, he can see all the questionnaires he has been assigned to. As an enumerator, we can see a questionnaire that is being filled out, and we can choose it to submit. Here we can see that we have included a other for marital status, which includes a justification that says widower, but my wife is alive in Spain. One field is invalid. The first name is required, Claudia, for example. All inputs are valid, and now we can submit the questionnaire. We can see that the system has placed the questionnaire in quarantine. Now the questionnaire has to be validated by a quarantine validator. In this case, fortunately, Vladimir is also a quarantine validator, so he will have this questionnaire as quarantine validator. You can see it here. The quarantine validation form is slightly different than the questionnaire for the data capture. Here we have to check all the justifications. So we first see it, and if we accept it, then we just click on we check the box. Verify all the answers, and we can submit the questionnaire. Now, let's see what happens with Ivan's questionnaires. We log in as Ivan. First thing you see is that he has only My Questionnaires option. And in this case, we have assigned him a few units to survey. These ones appear in the assigned companies. We have one that is pending and one that is in progress. The one that is in progress is also available in the As Enumerator. Let's verify our answers. We had already filled out this one, and this is ready to be submitted. There is no flexible constraints broken here, so this one should go directly to a finalized state. Sang offers many more features, but I have tried to show you its core objective, data reliability. We have seen two strategies for this: constraints and survey roles. For each of these strategies, Sang offers different tools to be used in the survey building and the data capture processes. Thank you very much.